State's second witness in the 25 million rand Nulane corruption case has given insider information on how the firm came to be on the Free State Agriculture Department's books. Shadrack Cezula, who is a Section 204 witness, has been accused of trying to save his own skin during cross-examination. Erin Bates is our reporter on the story, live for us just outside the High Court in Bloemfontein, in fact. And Erin, we'll get to that in a moment because there were two cases all playing out in the Free State today, the first being around the former minister Mosebenzi Zwane, very brief but still very important.
Indeed, and as you say, back in court in April of 2023, Zwane appearing with his 15 co-accused. It was 16, but the business Estina has been dropped from the case. Carmel Basram, who was added to this matter in November, along with two of the accused who are facing criminal trial in the Nulane case, that's Peter Tabete and Saipati Dlamini, also in court, which pushed start proceedings in the case that's been on the go for most of the day. And speaking to Zwane as he made his way out of court, I raised a number of questions with him. His proximity to the Guptas, whether or not he'll be challenging the Zondo report, and also his view on step aside. Let's just have a listen to what he had to say.
Stepped aside a long time ago, voluntarily, and so I stay committed by it.
Do you wish others would do the same?
I can't do it for other leaders. We have charity foundations, but I don't want to drive my party in this thing, because my duty as a member of ANC is to make sure that the credibility and the dignity of the ANC remains intact.
So, Tembekile, that was some of what Zwane had to say, seeming quite relaxed and confident as he made his way out of court, a brief hearing. And, of course, it's acting judge Nompumulelo Gusha who's presiding over Nulane. There was some talk of her seeing to this matter, but she can't because many of the facts are the same. And, of course, there's some of the same accused in both cases, mentioned in both indictments. And so we had a different judge dealing with that sort of really on a perfunctory level, and back in April in this court.
And while we wait for that case to continue, today there was a lot more meat in the Nulane matter, cross-examination happening. How far did it go?
Well, it goes into tomorrow as well. Cezula will be cross-examined by the counsel for 5 of the 6 accused. We had Lungisani Daniel Mancha for Peter Tabete, for the head of the departments involved in this. It's a little technical because the Departments of Agriculture and Rural Development were at different key times separate entities or separate departments and then combined. But Cezula faced a lot of pushback, for example, over his discussions with a Mr. Mtolo. He's an investigator from the Hawks who dealt with him and given him some information which fed into his decision to become a state witness in this matter. Mancha saying that he wanted to save his own skin and raising several points of issue in terms of his testimony today. But we're starting to get meat to the bones of this criminal case, Tembekile, and so important to have that because this is the most prominent state capture matter now on trial, driven by the Investigative Directorate of the ID. It's been around for a few years, announced by the President in 2019. Now we're seeing witnesses on the stand, or I'm seeing them on the stand. Unfortunately, because of an order from Gusha asked for from counsel for the accused, we can't air any of that testimony, which is in some ways, I would say, of course I would, it's my job and I'm interested in what happens in terms of prosecuting state capture. Quite a pity that the public doesn't have sight of this, considering how important these issues are. You see how casual on Cezula's evidence and claims Free State government officials in the tops of their departments were allegedly in signing off the handing over of money without doing the proper due diligence.
Right, and he did, Shadrack Cezula, admit today that the process that he was involved in was improper. What else did he say?
So he said that Nulane Investments was named by Saipati Dlamini, the head of one of the departments involved here, when she came into his office on the 6th of October 2011. That's a key date because 3 days earlier, the department had received a letter from Worldwide Window Impacts, that scrap metal business in India, New Delhi, congratulating the province on its Mohuma Mobung project. And he says that Dlamini applied pressure to him to get a deviation document together. She showed him this letter. She allegedly was receiving calls from Peter Tebete while she was in that office with him, and he says at some point Tebete phoned him directly on the landline, pushing to get this done 3 days after receiving that letter. We hear that this Worldwide Window Impacts is a company linked to the Gupta family with a director and chairman who are associates and friends of the Gupta family, and this is how we start to see the organogram, the conspectum, as it were, or conspectus, is it, of the Gupta's international business network being populated with names and faces. And we're only into day 3 of this criminal trial. Of course, this evidence needs to be tested, and it will undergo further grilling when we see counsel from the other accused doing cross-examination tomorrow.
Erin Bates, thank you very much for that update outside the High Court in Bloemfontein.